Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Today what I want to do is just break down a couple images that I took and show you some lighting diagrams and how I got the shot, essentially. I'll show you a really clean image with a large light source and a more moody image with a very focused light. So let's get into it. Alright, so today I just want to talk about two images that I did for a client. This is for a model for an agency in New York. I just did some updated portfolio images for her. I just want to break them down and show you kind of how I did the lighting and why I did what I did. I'm going to use Photoshop just to kind of demonstrate the two images, and then I'm going to jump into a program called Set.a.Light. And if you never used Set.a.Light before, it is a, what it's called, kind of like a lighting tool. And it kind of shows you a model in real time. You can move lights around and kind of set up your lighting diagram before even getting on set. So it's pretty neat. But this is going to be an easy way to show you what I did without kind of showing you what I did. So let's jump into it. First is the images here. So these two images were the feel we were going for. We wanted a nice clean image. We did a series of these, but I just pulled two. So a nice clean image that could be easily worked into her comp card, and then a more edgy or a darker image that kind of shows some range, right? So the first image here is just with something simple. It's a just with basics, right? So keeping with basics, we have like a tank top with jeans and some sneakers that she had. Real easy, real simple, something a model would have, laying around. So when I do a shoot like this, I always ask models to bring a wardrobe change that's just like this. It's easy. We don't have to think about much. There's no piecing things together. It's just denim, a basic top, something timeless. So for this, we just went with a really clean look, right? Not a lot of makeup, not much done to the hair. We may do a small fan here and there if we want to, but it's real easy. This is what I always start with. So with this, I have a big light source on the model's left side, so your right side, like right here. A big light source, okay? So that's hitting the model on this side, giving us a nice flattering light. And it's a bounce light. So we have two strobes going into a V-flat, which I'll show you shortly, hitting the model here. And this behind her is like a sick wall. And the whole room is white, right? So I have my aperture and shutter set so I don't get any spill light from the windows over here, and no spill light from the ceiling here. So we just have the one light source. So this gives us a little bit of shadow on this side and down here, just to give us some depth, right? Because, e-commerce, we really don't have a whole lot of shadow. It's just, here's a white background, which we didn't want that. I wanted a little bit of depth, give some dimension. And when we zoom in here, we can see we still have the nice catch light in both sides, which is what we want. And whenever I do this, I definitely do edit skin. So I will do a nice skin edit, touch up anything on the clothes, but I don't spend a whole lot of time, right? It's nice for a comp card, but it's not necessarily for like a clothing brand or something where we're really worried about that. I do ask though that models bring things without labels unless it's intentional. Like if we're doing something like Calvin Klein or something like that, then we want that label showing. But for this, just something real simple, works with a variety of clothing choices, but I will show you real quick how we did this. Here's a kind of render of the image we did previously in Photoshop, right? So nice and clean, nice and clean. And then over here, we have what I did. So I have 2 strobes bouncing into a V flat and then coming back at our subject here. I know this room looks gray. However, where I was working, it's a white room, but this will work anywhere. My old studio was a wood floor and, gray ceiling, windows on the side, and it worked just fine. You get a little bit more shadow and you have a little bit more to retouch in post-processing, but the idea is the same. You just want a nice, even, clean background. So white seamless will work, or the sick wall, whatever you have, really. You can even do this on a black background. You just get, a black background. But that's what we're going for. So we just set our camera accordingly to our histogram. We just don't want blown out background and these 2 lights. So if you never used Set.a.Light before, and this is not paid, it's just I like the app, right? It's for desktop. I'm using it on PC, but you can do down here is like a timeline. So I have 2 setups for the 2 I'm going to show you. You can take a little picture of it and then jump easily between the 2. You can change the model that you're working with, whether it be male or female, and change the characteristics. You can go in the lighting setup. So depending on what modifier you're using, you can change the modifier of the light. If you're using speed lights or strobes, continuous lights, place V-flats, and kind of see it in real time. So like on the camera here, if I change the aperture, you see it in real time. It's pretty cool. So that's the first image. If you have any questions, throw them in the comments, and I'll do a video like more in depth on Set.a.Light and my thoughts on it. But this is a good representation of this first look. I like this look because it's even lighting, top to bottom. You can have models sit, stand, whatever you want to do. The only thing you may have to adjust is the height of the light to make sure you get that catch light where you want it. Like on this, I don't know if you can see it, but the catch light's mid-eye, and I want it a little bit higher. So I would just kind of adjust these lights so that catch light goes up. But that's that. All right, so jumping back into these photos here. Let's mess with this one here. So for our edgier look, we have 1 constant light source coming at like a 45-degree angle. And for this, I used a Parabolix 30. You can use any parabolic type light source if you want to achieve this exact look. The 30 is a bit tight, in my opinion. I usually use like the 45, but the 30 is what I had. It's easier to carry and it's light, so that's what I use when I'm traveling by train to and from New York. So this is what I got. So we got the 30 here, and then I have a V flat placed like a box. Like a box around my subject. Okay. So this obviously gives the shadows, enhances the shadows, and creates that nice backdrop. Now, what I did do was leave a slit right here. So it's not a true box, all right? It's a V flat here, a little gap, and then another singular placed card. And why I did that was to let some of the light spill in behind the subject. So if you look here, I have, it's a little bit lighter on this side than it is over here. One, because the light source is coming from this side, so it's gonna kind of fall off. But two, I wanted that spill to separate her from the backdrop. So we're on this side. I obviously did some post-processing, but she kind of falls away into this darkness on this side. And then with that parabolic light, and you get that really nice look in the eyes on this. That's what I wanted. I wanted something with a lot of punch, very dramatic. And again, this is a simple makeup. I just had her come hair and makeup ready, and we just jumped from this really clean to really dramatic. And this is, again, a very simple outfit. This is just a black bra top, and I had her bring like a chunkier black necklace. I've done the same look for a couple different shoots, and if you really want it to pop, you can throw like an oil. Pam works great. Just spray it on like a paper towel and just hit the collarbone for that shine. You'll get that nice reflection. A lot of like glam shots will do that. Maybe not with that particular thing, but if you have a makeup artist on set, they can make it shine. But if you're just by yourself, just cooking spray on a paper towel, dab so it's not super shiny, but you'll get that nice reflection off the collarbone and chest, and it looks really good. If you put like a gloss on the lip, and it just adds a little bit more punch than what you're getting over here, and you don't have to take a lot of time to change up the makeup look. So let's jump into the Set.a.Light. Okay, so I did my best to represent what I did here. So first, this is pretty close to exactly what we achieved here, right? Catch light looks a little bit different in this, and with Set.a.Light, if you're using parabolics, you don't have the added benefit of the distance arm. So like on the parabolics lights that I use, it's got the light source and your light's bouncing like this back inside of it, but it also has like a rod to where you can adjust whether you want it more focal or if you want it more broad. And on this software, as far as I know, there's not a way to adjust that. So you kind of just get an idea of what it's going to look like, but it does have like different parabolic settings. So if you want like the grid on the front, or if you want a scrim or anything like that, you can change it. All right. So with this is kind of what I was talking about. So I have the V flat here on the one side and then the other side, and then our light, this is obviously going through the ceiling, but would be coming down this way. And then I put a constant light source here. I did not have that on set, but what I did have was these were large windows. So I opened the shades to let that light spill in. And from the way the lights were coming, or the sunlight was coming in, I positioned my V-flats to catch that sunlight so that it spilled on the side of her face and her back and the back of this V-flat. So when you're looking straight ahead, this was more in it's not a lot of change, but it's some change, right? Let me see if we can crank that up. So if you can see, like, this is a little brighter than if it's off. So that's kind of how I did those two shots, and I'll delete this real quick. But yeah, so super simple. I try to keep one light source. I did use two lights on the lighter image, but if you have a couple V-flats or even just anything you bounce off of, even a wall in a smaller studio, this is like a perfect go-to. And then with this one, you can achieve a similar look with like an octabox or anything like that. You just won't get that. You won't get as much of a punch in the eyes here, but you'll achieve, a similar look with an octabox or a large umbrella. You just can't like direct the light like you can with a parabolic. I hope this was helpful. I hope you learned something. If anything, maybe you saw that Set.a.Light application, you're like, man, that's really cool. I know I use it all the time. Anytime I'm trying something new for a new client, or I just want to experiment, I jump into there. You can do all kinds of stuff with gels and all kinds of things like that. And I'll do a video just breaking that down. And like I said, it's not a paid partnership. They didn't sponsor anything. Hell, I'm not getting paid for any of this. It's just kind of for fun. So I figured I'd show you a couple different looks I did. And this is generally my go-to. So I'll do a nice clean, something with some punch or some edge, Or if I'm doing a beauty shoot, I'll do, some beauty shots with something clean too. But I wanted to compare and contrast and kind of just show you what you can do with a couple lights. If you have a setup you want me to try or want me to show, or an image that you like of mine from my Instagram or my website, let me know and I'll do a breakdown on it. And please hit that like and subscribe. Thanks, guys.